It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission, by the way. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Tamara White. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about the power of prioritizing, but more importantly, how you can overcome your fears and live a fulfilled life. Isn't that kind of cool? What's going on, Dr. Tamara? How are you doing?
I'm all right, Dr. Che, and then this is Tamara.
Tamara, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Apologize. Yeah. Tamara, how you doing, Tamara? She's in the building. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I'm curious, we're having a conversation today, and at least this morning, this evening, by the time they're watching, that's all really about being able to practice the power of prioritizing. My first question is, why are people struggling these days, or I'm putting my hand up, ladies and gentlemen, with doing things and having it in a priority order? When we have AI, it's right on my phone, by the way, and tells me everything I'm supposed to do. I can get motivated through TikTok or Instagram, and I can run through a brick wall after about a minute or two of watching videos. Why are we still stuck? So here's the question, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to be too sarcastic. Why are we having this conversation today? Why are people still stuck not doing the things they know they should be doing?
We are in a distracting world, and when we're in a distracting world, so many things are happening around us, and it's really getting more difficult to keep our focus. We have to get back into our box for a moment and learn how to deal with what's urgent and what's important. And these are different things that we have been knowing for a while. This is nothing old, but in order to get things done, prioritizing is extremely important. We can't focus on 10 million things at one time. We have to really begin to think about, what do I need to do now? What can I put on a delay and for tomorrow? And that's not to say that we're procrastinating. That's not the issue here. The issue is, how do we get more done? And how do we do that from a place of rest? And that's called prioritizing, and doing what's important, doing what's urgent, and getting to that as quickly as possible.
You talked about prioritizing, and you talked about doing what's urgent, which I think is very important. Take a moment if you can, and I'm curious, what's your definition of fear these days? Because that comes up a lot. People say, well, they're fearful of doing it. That's why they didn't do it. Now, Che Brown, I have my own story, by the way. Things have to be perfect, by the way, just Che Brown. Or as soon as this happens over here, don't worry, I'm jumping all in over here. And so, I rationalize things sometimes. But here's my question to you. What's your definition of fear? And why does that still hold some people back from taking the action they need to take? And it's a loaded question, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's loaded. You're all different places and spaces, so she'll try to package it the best she can.
Well, fear is something I want to normalize fear in a way that is not always self-destructive. So fear is a natural byproduct of just being a human being. Fear can be categorized in many different ways, but we do need fear because it is designed to protect us. It protects us physically, it can protect our psyche, and we can use that to give us warnings. When the fear becomes something that we live with on a regular, because I am not only a certified life coach, I am a licensed counselor. And so I deal with people that have a lot of stresses and a lot of fears and anxieties. And fear can be a stopgate of not doing what we need to do best for ourselves, because we are imagining things, we're putting things up in our heads that really aren't true. We have fear about things that haven't even conceptualized. We have built that factor into our brains, and we've learned some very bad habits of looking at fear before we look at faith. And so I'm just asking people to more or less look at normalizing it. Is it something I should step into? Is it something that's going to cause me danger? Have we done some resourcing out on the things that we need to do so that fear doesn't get in the way? But I do know that fear is becoming a lifestyle habit, Che. It's becoming a lifestyle habit.
You mentioned lifestyle habit. I like that. You talked about fear. Before we get into your background, I know some of you haven't read her bio, so you have no idea who this person is talking. I get it. And some of you haven't got a chance to go to her website. Some of you have already Googled her. Some of you are already there. Want to know who is this person? I get it. We'll get to her backstory in a moment, by the way. But, a number of folks, our audience, just so you're familiar with it, many of them work a full-time job. Okay, they're dualpreneurs. They work a full-time
Sure.
job and they're a full-time entrepreneur. Some of them are
Sure.
husbands, some of them are wives, some are in relationships. Some are saying, look, I want her to know, Shay, that I have kids I'm responsible for as well. Others are like Shay Brown. They're a caregiver. On top of all responsibilities, they're also a caregiver. Others are involved in their community or other outside activities. And they're thinking, hey, Shay, let her know I'm already doing a whole lot of things. So what does she mean I'm overwhelmed and overstressed? How does someone like me, loaded question again, how do I find time to take care of me when I'm taking care of everyone else? I'm not fearful. I know how to prioritize. I just can't get to myself because everybody needs me. So here's the question. How does someone who has so much going on, how do they take care of
Yeah.
themselves and not be overwhelmed?
Yeah. Well, I live that story. Most of us now are living that story where we're in many different roles throughout our day, caregiving kids, taking care of loved ones. We have mixed families in our homes. But I ask you to take a moment to really think through your schedule. Really think through, what do I need to give up? What do I need to sort out? What can I let go of? And you may say, hey, Dr. Tamara, I can't let go of anything. I want you to take another look. And I ask my clients to go back and take another look. Where can you find time? Where can you commit to a particular day out of the week, let's say a Friday or a Saturday morning, where you can have that moment? Your moment may be that you just have a cup of coffee and no one talks to you and asks you any questions. It could be that you go out on the back porch or the patio. It could be that you just sit in your car and listen to the music. However, you need to find that time because your brain needs to come down. It needs to be calmed. We cannot allow our brains to go racing like they're racing now without having some calm, some meditative moments where we're at peace and where we can think a sentence through without somebody distracting us or something distracting us. So it's a perception that we must develop for ourselves, that it is a must. Just like you get up and take a shower, you brush your teeth, it is an absolute must in this day and time with all the chaos and confusion in our world that we have a moment to self-reflect, because the anxieties, the stressors, the overwhelmers, they're not going away. We have got to step back and take care of ourselves. We all hear the adage of when we're on a plane and they say, put your mask on first. It is so true. If you have kids, you get yourself ready before they get ready. Just put that as a priority and you will grab those moments. If it's 10, 15 minutes, set a timer and do what you need to do for yourself, because you will not survive. You will end up totally, I don't want to put it out there, but it won't be good. It won't be good. It won't be a good place.
It won't be good as good enough for putting it out there. By the way, we're using our own imagination right now. That ain't good either. Just to let you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think now's a good time for us to slow down, and we'll certainly speed back up. Folks are probably
Sure.
curious, who's this person talking? What's her backstory? The question, what's your backstory? So they know who you are. And then what was that defining moment that led you to saying, you know what? One of my missions in life is to help folks overcome fear and be more fulfilled.
Oh my goodness. I think, just growing up is the backstory, right? Growing up in a single parent home, watching mom do it all. Having to slay it myself sometimes as a single parent, pursuing different jobs, pushing through, learning how to pass through that fear. Now, I'm a human too. I mean, fear is knocking at my door a lot of times, but just learning how to press through. I was taught that. Press through. And if you weren't taught it, you can learn it right here on this segment, that you can push through. You just have to put your mind there and want to do it. So backstory of growing up, a single parent, a home, watching my mom push through. I mean, watching her push through, watching people around me push through, knowing that I had to go to college to push through, getting the degrees to push through, because it's a lot of self talk. I had to make up in my mind, what did I want my life to look like? How did I want to live my life out that didn't look like everybody else around me, but what did I want for myself? And I learned how to carve that out. And then when moments weren't there, I grabbed a hold to a friend. I had someone that I could go to. I had a mentor. I had someone that I could call and say, "Can you help me in this moment?" And so having those courageous moments in my life just led me to, where I am now. My whole platform is built on being courageous, living a courageous life. And what does that look like? One day, one step at a time, but it's all about knowing what you want your life to look like.
I love it, by the way. I love what you're doing. I love the mission that you have. I love what we saw earlier, something called the Courageous Framework.
Hmm.
I don't know if now's a good time, and I know it wasn't on the agenda, but we're curious. There's two questions, ladies. I'm gonna have the curious. One, what is this courageous framework all about? Why it exists and who it's for? So it's like a three-part question,
Hmm.
but she can handle it. Which is, what is it? Who's it for?
Yeah.
And why does it exist? The courageous framework, which you kind of put together, which I think is pretty cool, by the way. So can you take a moment and
Thank
kind of
you.
share what it is, why it
Yes.
exists, and who's this
Yes.
framework really for? I think it's interesting.
Yes, yes, yes. So the Courageous Woman Effect is my own trademark of working with women who need that extra boost. Because what I realize in the work that I do and the work that I have done for years is that without courage, Shay, you can't do anything. And that's where the fear comes in. So if I'm not courageous, I'm gonna be fearful probably, or I'm gonna sit on the sofa and do one less thing a day. And so coming up with that courage, that ability to be able to move through the dynamics that one needs to move through to get to where they want to get. I know we've heard about living our best life and yada yada. That's all cliche. But really, living your best life talks about it embodies having courage. So having those courageous steps to walk away from a bad relationship, walking away from a job that doesn't serve you, walking away from whatever the fears are in your life and saying, I'm going to say yes to myself. So I work with women to embody what it is that they want. First of all, do you know what your purpose involves? I had a woman one time who was a social worker, but she really wanted to be an attorney. So we had two different things going on. And she wanted to be an attorney. She said, I did the social work thing because my parents wanted me to, but I hate it. And so we embodied that. So her purpose was being a lawyer. And then we talk about unforgiveness. Where is that holding you back? We talk about having that plan to kind of move forward. What does that look like? What do you see for your future? So there's probably 6 or 7 steps in there. How do you handle fear and doubt that come up? How do you
I
handle
love it.
work life, family dynamics? So all of that is about being in the courageous woman effect world, and that's why I created it, because I too was in that spot years and years ago, and so I took my own experiences and developed my own way of handling with my clients.
Well, you can't leave us hanging. I mean, you just can't leave us hanging saying you was there. I mean, ladies, how can she just leave us hanging like that? Well, I think it's a good
I was
segue
there.
over to a segment that we have called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in
Mhm.
every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to say. You can go ahead and say those magical words. That's right. Today is my January 1st. Doesn't that feel good? Happy New Year to
Yes,
you, by the way. And for
yes,
all the new
yes.
folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur family. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents
Mm,
a do over. It means our
mhm,
past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past might be, or for some of you, how
mhm,
bright and sunny that past is, the past
mhm,
no longer equals the future. And so, my
mhm.
question for Tamara on the other side is twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, maybe her life's been perfect. We'll find out. What was a setback that you had in your life or some challenge, and how did
Mhm.
you overcome it?
Mhm. So when I hear January 1st, as you described it, Jay, it means starting over. It means just a fresh start. Today's another day that I can get up and start all over again. I can make the changes that I want to make. I can make the decisions that I need to make for myself that are going to move me towards the goals that I have set forth for myself. I'm going to pick up the phone and make that call. I'm going to research something. So when I had my courageous moment, which I have had many, if most people have, I was working with my husband in his business. And then I decided I was working with someone working a traditional job. And then went to work with my husband for about 8 years. And I just found myself drowning. I found that it was not the right place for me. It wasn't dealing with my skill set. And while that was the pot of income, I had to wake up one morning and have value for me. And I had to be able to have that courageous conversation with my spouse to let him know that I needed to move on. I needed to find my way back to what I do best. And so it did take a lot of courage, because when someone is counting on you and you're in a relationship and it's how you make your money, you do have to figure out what that looks like for you. And I had been thinking about it and praying about it and meditating on it for long enough. And one that woke up that one morning, I said, today is the day. It was my January 1st. And so had that conversation, put things in place, make sure everything was a go for him, make sure everything was settled. And on my end, I didn't just walk away, but left him in a good situation. And I left to do me. I gave it a shot, but I left to do me. And that was one of the best things I did for myself, is to really own up to my authenticity, to own up to my truth, and to be who I needed to be for myself.
Wow. Thanks for being
Mhm.
so transparent.
Yes.
Appreciate that, by the way. Takes a lot of courage. I guess that's why you got courageous. I mean, it takes a lot of
Yes.
courage to do that. And someone
Yes.
who's been there before, myself, I understand. So I've been on that side when she came to me and said, "That's it, Shay." I'm like, "What?" We can smile now, but trust me, there's
Mhm.
a lot of crying nights. But it's for the best. I'm on my third marriage. I'm very, very happy. Don't judge me, nobody out there. I know I'm the only one that's been through these situations where the woman comes and says, "Shay, it's over." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, they just weren't happy. But it's okay.
Yes.
This is not about Shay
Yes.
Brown. We're not having a counseling session, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. I'm not going to go sit on the couch. She's not going to talk. This is just a moment of transparency. That's all.
Yes.
Take a moment, if you
Absolutely.
would. And one of the things that really attracted me on her website, and she was going to tell you how to connect with her later, was this whole idea of finding fulfillment. And I'm just curious. Again, I'm the only one who has this question. Do you find fulfillment, or is fulfillment something that you create yourself? So take a moment and break down, what does fulfillment mean these days? Because a big word. What does it look like? And you didn't say find your destiny. Well, I hear that a lot. You didn't say
Mhm.
find your greatness. I hear that often. But I think it's the first time
Mhm.
I've seen, no, you can find your fulfillment, which to me is a higher level than joy. It's like you're
Yes.
fulfilled. So anyway, I don't want to. What does fulfillment mean? And is it possible to find
Yeah.
that fulfillment?
It is possible. Fulfillment is all self. It's about self. It's about finding what lights you up, finding what makes you joyful in your life. And I don't say happy, because happy is fleeting. Happy is fleeting. It comes and goes. But joy is something that brings you joy no matter what's going on around you. You can look at your child and you find joy. You can look at the nature and find joy. So the self fulfillment of what makes you alive in this life that we have. What brings you joy? What lights you up? Where are you seasoned? What do you do to explore life? What is it that you want to do? To find your way through this world, and not in a selfish way. We're not talking about a selfish way. How can you fight through your fears, finding fulfillment? How can you be seen in this world? What is it that you want? That's how you find fulfillment. It's a self discovery. It's not selfish. It's a self discovery moment, because we are on this earth for a purpose. And it's not just to hold our purpose into ourselves, but it's to give it away, because someone needs what you have and I need what you have. So that's how that works. Fulfillment, self fulfillment.
Thanks. I love it. What do you enjoy most about
Hmm.
what you're doing these days? Even when you get to talking, you kind of crank, and you get up as the more you talk. It seems like the more excited you get. Not over the top, but I
Yeah.
can feel it coming through. The
Hmm.
these
Mhm.
power, these fiber optic lines. So I'm curious, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
I like the aha moments. I love to see the satisfaction in that client when they get it. When they come to me and they've got stuff going on, issues or what have you. I love when the light bulb goes off, that the aha moments are there, where the growth is there, when they take those moments and they take those steps towards the things that they said they wanted to do. Because I hold people accountable when they come to me, and I, do all the necessary things by asking questions, and I hold them to it. Didn't you say you wanted to do such and such, or has that changed? Because it's not my agenda, it's their agenda. So if the agenda's changed, then I go with that and we kind of go down the road. But I want to see the satisfaction. I want that growth to happen, that transformation, so that women are walking away not as stressed, when they have a plan of action for how to prioritize, when they learn how to set their boundaries, when they learn how to say no when they really want to say no instead of saying yes, when they stop hiding from their fears, when they go about their life and gain that fulfillment and still be a wife, a mother, a friend, a spouse, a partner, and you still can balance that out where you can have work life harmony and not be going to work all drudged out. If that's not the job you want, then get another one. Live the life that you want. And it's all up to us. Every day we get up, we have a choice, Jay. We have a choice as to how we live, how we move, how we breathe, who we talk to, what we shut in, what we bring in, and how we can keep it moving. Because I believe in keeping it moving. If it's not working, keep it moving. Go on to the next.
I love
Mhm,
it. Keep it moving. Keep
mhm,
it moving.
mhm.
One of my questions I love to ask when we have time, we have a couple minutes here as we come down the home
Sure.
stretch. Your answers are perfect.
Sure.
I'm loving it. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, I'm going to frame it for the audience and let them know that I'm going to actually
Mhm.
come down the mountain with the 10 Commandments. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for here. You've
Yeah.
had probably read more books you remember these days. I don't know if you count the number of books you read anymore. You probably watch more hours of video than I don't count the hours I watch videos anymore.
Mhm.
And you've been through more workshops. You have a lot of letters behind your name and mentors, I'm sure, on this journey of life. But if you had to reach out and say, you know what? Here's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given, Shay, and I want to share it with the audience. What would it be and why?
Well, I think it's just more practical. Don't allow anyone to make you feel any kind of way, and don't allow someone to force you into things that you don't want to be a part of. In other words, be in a place to make your own decisions, to use your own mind, to use your own brain. I think that's the way I was brought up. Did you make that decision, or is that someone else's decision? Did you think that through, or is that someone else's thought? Are you doing what someone else wants you to do, or is this something you want to do? And that's it right there. That's kept me making thorough decisions. I may not always have got it right, and we all have made some boo-boos out there, but I learn from them. So what I do is, if I do something that doesn't make sense or it's not right, I reflect on it and say, okay, I won't step in that again. You won't catch me twice. That's how I that's how I go about it. You won't catch me twice, with that shame on you type of thing. But no, one time once I get it, I read people really well. You know, I just trust my gut, trust my instinct.
I love it. As we come down the home
Hmm.
stretch, two-part question. Number
Okay.
one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? I'm not sure if you're taking on any clients. And number
Mhm.
two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Oh, that's wonderful. So I work with women leaders who are struggling with overwhelm, stress, anxiety, work life balance, career decisions, and relationships. And because of the things that I'm talking about, I'm not going to be counseling or coaching relationships. But when you don't have the other things, when you're overwhelmed and stressed and you're burnt out and you're carrying a big load and work is stinky and your life is stinky, it's going to affect your relationships. And especially our women leaders, because we have to show up no matter what. And yes, I am looking for clients. I also am a speaker, so I speak on platforms to give out the same message. And it all boils down to teaching how to live a courageous life, because without the courage, you can't get through the overwhelm and the fear and the doubt. all the things that allow us to cause us to hang our head low. And so, how do you reach me? I am all over all the social media platforms. I'm not on TikTok and Twitter. Didn't well, not Twitter, whatever it's called, not X. Didn't get back out there on that, but it is my name. TamaraWhiteCoaching.com is the platform. Same platform on Instagram, and LinkedIn is my name, Dr. Tamara White on LinkedIn. So those are ways that you can reach out to me, and Facebook too. Love to
They'll
talk to the
find you.
ladies.
They
Yeah, they'll
oh, they
find.
will find you. She's findable.
Love it.
She's findable. That's you
Love
need
it.
to be that in business. You got to be findable. Okay, not go
Yes.
find people. You want people to find you. Anyway,
Yes.
topic for
That's
another
right.
time.
That's
Topic
right.
for another time. Be findable. Um,
Hmm.
let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Can't wait to have
And
you back. So thank you so
yeah,
much.
yes, I enjoyed it. I appreciate the reach out, and I am here to serve. So appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in because without you, well, we don't have a show. So we appreciate when you show up every night at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate the comments. Yeah, it's kind of cool when you hit the like button. But more importantly, for this type of conversation, hit the share button. Like, no, pay this message forward to another community, to another individual, so they can not only overcome their fears, but they can live a more fulfilling life. And that's what life is all about. And I never get tired of reminding you. Every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what you're going through. Some of you, you're doing really, really well, but there's still another level. You're not slowing down. You got the pedal to the metal. You're going to another level. And others, maybe there's been some setbacks. Here's what I know for sure. Today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. It hasn't changed. We're out of here. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Doc. See you later. Peace,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.